Welcome back to IBC 2024. With me on the MainStreaming stand is Ian Franklin, the relatively new CRO here. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you.
Good to speak to you. As a relative newcomer, I wonder if you could sort of outline how you see the next steps and plans for international development for the company here.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons why I joined MainStreaming, I was being very impressed with what they've been able to achieve in the Italian regions, and now increasingly into Germany. And we're very happy to announce that we've just set up an office in Germany, so we're focusing very, very hard into the DACH region right now. And of course, with me joining and being based in London, our next step is to drive heavily into the UK market as well. So Europe and the key markets of Europe are 100% our focus right now. Having said that, a lot of the benefits that MainStreaming brings to the broadcasters is the ability to address many of the challenges they face when it comes to delivering high quality TV across a highly fragmented infrastructure at scale, with cost constraints, and if they're not being well served by CDNs in that area. And that's what we saw in Italy. So key to our strategy is looking at emerging markets as well. So we're having a bit of a focus on that.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because European broadcasters, you mentioned Germany, UK, we could add in France, we could add in Scandinavia, we could add in many other broadcasters, just used to giving their viewers a high quality experience from start to finish. You don't get a badly transmitted picture. And I guess it's the job of MainStreaming to help them maintain that as the technology changes.
It is. Quality of experience is obviously key, because we know factually that's what drives engagement and revenue. So that's the ultimate objective. But in all markets, and I think increasingly in the West, cost constraints and resource constraints are now paramount. So when you're broadcasting today, you want to deliver a great QoE, but you have to do it within the confines of cost constraints. And that's a huge challenge. So what MainStreaming brings to the market and the value proposition is having been proven to deliver a great QoE, but doing it at a far more attractive cost point, and a way that's controllable as well, right? And the way that we do that is the concept of a hybrid model. Would you like me to elaborate a little bit on that?
No, please, and also particularly your CMCD Plus product as
okay.
well.
Yep. Okay. So obviously, in order to be able to deliver a great QoE, you need to have a very good insight into what the end viewer is experiencing. Typically, that's being provided by specialist analytics services today, but now with the CMCD Plus initiative, it's now possible for you to retrieve that data set directly from the clients in real time. So what MainStreaming is spearheading is taking that real-time insights from the client and then turning them into actionable insights that's driving operational change to drive QoE.
And that's something the broadcaster has never had before with the transmitter on the hill. They just have to turn up and look in the window of somebody's TV.
Totally right. And what it does is it means that they can be super responsive, right down to a very granular level. So you can do, for example, things like prefetching content. You can adjust bit rates. You can see how key KPIs like buffering and video starts, failures, and pixelation, which are what's really driving customer frustration.
Yes.
What they can actually do about it in near to real time.
There's lots of factors which can, if you like, cause trouble for the signal, and most of all the content. If all of a sudden a particular country's player is playing in an overseas football match, all of a sudden there might be an inexplicable spike in the amount of traffic going through. And by the sounds of things, this system will spot it.
It does. I mean, MainStreaming really solves for that problem in two ways. One is the ability to get the content, live content, as well as on-demand content, right down to the edge as fast as possible. So it certainly helps with latency. It removes a lot of the points of failure, typically from the origin down to the end. But more importantly, with the orchestration capability that MainStreaming has, we're able to switch the edge servers to make sure that we're delivering a best quality of experience at any given time to the end user, no matter what. And what we've been able to do with one of our primary customers, who's predominantly delivering very high value live sports content in Italy, is we've been able to provide them with a hybrid solution, which is a combination of their own CDN, which is great economically and also technically, because not only do they have full control of their own CDN, because it's theirs essentially, but from a pricing standpoint, they know what it's going to cost. They know how much capacity is there. So they have control technically and commercially, and they end up having essentially edge servers across the whole of Italy, in this particular case, as close to the audience as possible, which is key. But there are instances where there are spikes, to your point, and what we do is we seamlessly can switch them onto a global CDN, so we can then augment the capacity as and when they need it. So that's why we're calling the hybrid model. It's interesting. This
is literally a two-way street, and I guess broadcasters also have to, if you like, contribute to their own success by putting in their own equipment, perhaps on your recommendation.
I think so. I think this is one of the shifts that that we're seeing in the industry, but I don't think it's actually happened as fast as I thought it would, which is multi-CDN. There are still a lot of broadcasters today who are dependent on a single CDN. We now know that having multiple CDN has many, many benefits. A lot of broadcasters are taking control of that and are being able to switch between CDNs based on performance, based on pricing, types of content, etc. So having multiple CDNs obviously is a key step for a broadcaster to deliver QoE. But in addition to that, now the ability to have your own CDN. And I think that's the key here. That's always been out of reach for a lot of broadcasters today, but the concept of a broadcaster, not an ISP, but a broadcaster managing, controlling their own CDN, I think is going to be the way things are going.
It's a logical thing to do. They used to own the transmitters at one point, so why not the CDNs?
Why not invest and own it and control it?
And how does MainStreaming then sort of help them through all of that?
Well, the first thing is that it's very easy, it's very, very quick to deploy. The benefit of MainStreaming coming into the market as a reasonably newcomer is that we've been able to look at the problems that broadcasters face and then come up with an alternative way to solve for those challenges. So the concept of intelligent, smart edge delivery is one of the ways that we're getting over that. The concept of being able to manage the distribution at the edge by using the smart orchestration informed by CMCD+, for example, is a way to do that. From a broadcaster standpoint, that means that they can almost off the shelf get a solution in place and be up and running very, very quickly. We basically take the load off them. We can deploy very, very quickly. They have full control almost instantly. So that's the key contribution.
Operators, of course, have a bit of a double challenge, don't they, going on? Because on the one hand, they've got to deliver the streams, but at the same time, they only want to deliver them to certain places. They've got to protect them to make sure that it seems the ever-growing number of pirates don't get hold of it and then redistribute illegally.
That's a great point. Broadcasters investing billions of dollars every year in content rights, and of course, they want to make sure that content is getting to a paying audience, whether it be subscription or advertising. And of course, these days it's very easy for viewers to go find pirate sites, using VPNs or never-ending tokenization to be able to get access to that content, and they're not contributing back to the broadcaster, which frankly hurts everybody because it means that it affects price. So MainStream has come up with a great solution for that, and now is providing an anti-piracy technology to give real-time insights into who's accessing the content, and then more importantly, I think, or just as importantly, control what you do about it. So you can choose to block, but in some cases, broadcasters don't want to block users.
Actually, convert them to a paying subscription.
Exactly, and we're providing the option where, for example, they can degrade the quality. We talked about QoE and how frustrating that is, especially for live sports content. So you can choose to degrade the quality, and wouldn't you like to watch this in better quality? Convert, become a subscriber. So we're putting that control back into the hand of the broadcaster. So control in the way that your content is delivered, and control in the way in who's actually accessing the content.
Ian, thank you
Pleasure.
Very much indeed. Thanks for your time. And we've got more videos at broadbandtvnews.com.